Let me wipe this off. That was a little blurry earlier. We are going to wait for a couple of people to join. Marcus is on. Hey, bro. And I told the people we were going to start promptly tonight. So I'm going to wait on the other people to come on, you guys. I have my water tonight, y'all. I don't drink a lot of water, so I have to kind of force myself. So I hope y'all don't mind. I see you, O'Keefe. Hey, Paulette. Xavier. Hey, you guys. As you guys are coming on, if you all do not mind, please share the video. Share the video. Please share the video. Antoine, we're looking for you. You're going to be the first guest. So while I'm waiting on him to come on, tonight's topic is it's one that's going to get a little real. It's something that, you know, people wrestle with, but it's something that we very seldom speak about. It's something that we do not talk about in the church. And I've been in church all of my life. My father is a pastor, so I know all about it. And it's something, again, that we don't talk about this. They don't do sermons about this. They don't do conferences about this kind of stuff. So some of you all may know about it personally, and some of you guys may not be affected by it at all. But we're going to talk about it. I have my friends on here. My guests are on here. And again, we're going to talk about it. Struggles that they may have gone through, that they overcame. So we're going to reach the people, bless the people. And that's going to be that on that. I don't see Antoine on here. So Marcus, I hope you're ready, bro. I'm about to put you on. Let's see. It says it's adding. Y'all share the video for us, please. We want to get this word out. We want to get this out. Okay, it says adding, Marcus. I'm not sure what's going on with the connection. But just like last week, there it is. I'm about to say the devil don't want us to be great, but we're going to be great anyway. There you go. Hey.
Hey.
What's going on? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Oh, Antoine, you're on. Okay, I already got Marcus on, so you're going to be after him. We had to go ahead and get started. So I'm doing well, bro. We're gonna talk about it tonight. You know what the topic is. Again, it's something that we don't talk about in the church. We do not, y'all. This bun is getting on my nerves, y'all. I tried to do something different, and I thought I was doing something, but I'm gonna be real with this. Y'all family now. Shoot, y'all don't see me on these videos long enough. Okay. Again, it's something that we don't really talk about in the church like that, but it's people who are real life affected by, you know, their mental health, you know, poor mental health. So I'm here. I have you here to tell a bit of your story and how you overcame it. Bless the people, bro.
Well, dealing with mental health in the church, I grew up in the church, born and raised. I think that one of the issues that I struggled with, and I think the issues that a lot of people who grew up in the church struggle with in mental health issues, is the fact of, I think we settle for being functional rather than being whole.
Right. Yeah.
And the issue with that is a lot of times we don't seek the help that we need because we're still functional. We're still able to operate. We're still able to do that which we're called to do. But some of us, we were preaching while we were broken, singing while we were broken, ministering while we was broken. And we were still functional. And because we was functional, we didn't think that we needed to seek help. And the problem is when you don't seek help, you start to cope. And when you cope, sometimes the way we cope is worse than the situation itself. That's what I had to figure out. And I did have to go to counseling. And I spent 6 months in counseling. And it was a very, very, very different experience because the counselor, her her job was not to fix me,
right,
per se, but her job was, in our coping, was to recognize that as humans, we are creatures of habits and cycles.
we are.
And what we don't understand is sometimes we keep doing the same thing that keeps us in the same situation.
Yeah.
We keep approaching situations the same way.
Right.
Now, dealing with mental health, when I went to counseling, I was depressed. But one of the things that I liked about my counselor is that her immediate solution was not to place me on medicine, because she said, yes, you're depressed, but you can come out of this.
Right.
And sometimes if we're not careful, we will rely on the medicine as a coping mechanism.
That's true.
And I'm grateful because, again, she wasn't a Christian counselor. And that's another thing. Now, dealing with counseling and in the church, one of the things I want to be mindful of, if you don't have a Christian counselor, you really have to be rooted and grounded in the word, because there are some situations that it's only a problem because we're in the church.
Wow, that's good.
And she respected my beliefs enough to where I'm not going to make you go against your belief, but it is her job to point out every option and every avenue.
Right.
Now, you don't have to take it. Now, because even if we go to the word of God, even if we deal with our emotions, God said something that I found strange. He said, be angry, but don't sin. Now, anger is an emotion, and anger is an emotion that if not dealt with, if you're not taught how to deal with it, you will do some horrible things with anger.
It's true.
But God, he didn't take anger away from us. He just said, feel this emotion, but don't sin in response to it.
Right.
When I went through counseling, one of the things that she helped me with was how to respond to certain emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things I needed help processing.
Right.
When you are processing your emotions, how do you respond to the emotions that you feel? Mm-hmm. How do you respond to the situations that you feel? Because a lot of times what we do when we cope, sometimes we try to eliminate people, and that's not fixing the problem.
Right.
Just because somebody makes you feel a certain type of way, you say, well, I'm going to cut that person off. Well, the problem is, if you just keep cutting people off, you're going to find yourself by yourself.
Right.
You'll
alone.
Cut yourself off. You'll get yourself to a place to where you're just isolated. So you have to figure out, how am I going to deal with this emotion that I'm feeling? Right. Now, because if you take that same scripture, be angry, but sin not, the thing is, you can put any emotion in that text.
Right.
Be happy, but don't sin.
Mm-hmm.
Be down, but don't sin.
Yeah.
Be mad, but don't sin. Be horny, but don't sin.
You
can feel the emotion, but you don't have to respond to every emotion that you feel.
That's good.
Because sometimes what happens is when we respond to it, we'll get stuck in it. And that's what happened to me. I found myself in a cycle, and I was in a vicious cycle. And therapy helped me understand the cycles that I was in my life. Because I could see it, but I couldn't see it. Because I'm not saying that therapy cancels out the church or the church cancels out therapy. I believe they go hand in hand.
Right.
You need both of them. Because even when we deal with demonic things, if you go to the text, Jesus used a parable. When they cast out the demon, the house was clean and empty. So the demon left.
Yep.
But when the demon came back, the house was clean, but still empty.
Right. That's good.
So it was still in a place to where he could come back and reoccupy the same house, because you didn't do anything different since he left.
That's
It's
good.
the same thing with therapy. Sometimes you have to commit to so many different sessions. Don't stop going once you get your first breakthrough.
Right.
Because you'll go to the therapy and you think, oh, my first week, I'm good. I'm good. No, you're not.
Yeah.
Because we still got to change your thought process. We got to change the way you're going to approach the situations. We got to change the way you think about it. Because if you keep approaching it with the same mind, you're going to keep ending up in the same place.
Same cycle.
Same cycle.
Exactly.
And I wouldn't say that. I would say that, you know, your topic was, why do we fake it in the church? We fake it in the church because sometimes we're fake.
You got to expound on, elaborate, please.
It's not the church that's fake. We're fake. And I'm not being arrogant. I'm not being boastful, but I'm being transparent right now.
Yeah.
I can preach.
You can. You can.
Hands down, flat foot. I can preach. No matter what state I'm in, I can preach.
And preach.
But the problem is, there's sometimes when I'm broken while I'm preaching.
Right.
So to an untrained eye, I'm being fake. Because you preaching about something that you're not living.
Wow, that's good.
I'm preaching to you, but I'm depressed. I'm preaching to you, but I got a broken heart.
Yeah.
I'm preaching to you, and I'm lifting you up because I know how to do it. But God sometimes, and even a place where I am now, sometimes God has to take you out and say, I need you to sit back.
Yeah.
I don't need you in this round. Because I need you to be whole, not just functional. Stop settling on being functional. Stop thinking just because in the church, just because you can do your job, just because you're still used, or just because you're still anointed, that means you're good. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because in the same word, he tells us, many shall come in that day and say, Lord, Lord, have I not done this, this, and this? Yep. So even then, I'll say to the people who call me a hypocrite, there were still people in the audience that received, even in my brokenness.
Yeah.
People still got saved. People still get healed. But then the dangerous part is what happens to me if I don't get whole.
That's good.
If I don't take time out and get healed, if I don't take time out and get whole, then what benefit is it to me? Because me just being functional helps you. Right. But me being whole helps me.
Exactly.
So in the church, in order for the church to stop faking it, those of us in the church, we got to stop faking it. Yeah. If you're going through something, get help.
Yeah.
Go get help. Be honest. Be honest with where you are. Be honest with where you're feeling. When I was in therapy, I had to be honest. Yeah. Because sometimes in the church, especially depending on your position, you don't want to admit where you really are.
Right.
But one of the things God told me, my grace can't be sufficient if you won't be honest.
That'll preach right there. That's
the only way my grace is sufficient is if you are honest.
That's good.
Because I can't allow my strength to be perfect in your weakness if you don't tell me where you're actually weak.
Wow. That's good.
And we cannot continue to be public success and private failures. Wow. Because we preach and teach and help everybody else instead of having self-preservation and helping ourselves. That's why so many preachers are committing suicide, walking away from their church, because you got to have somebody you can be honest with.
Yeah.
If it's not a spiritual covering above you, who's able to handle you, because one of the things is, even as leaders, and if there's any leaders on, I have to tell you, you cannot complain down. You cannot vent down.
That's good.
You cannot tell people who, for lack of a better word, report to you what you're struggling with.
Yeah.
You have to vent up. You need somebody above you. You need somebody that's higher than you to help you. Because if you don't, you'll ruin the people that's beneath you.
Wow, that's good, Marcus.
Because a lot of times, and this is the truth, everybody can't handle your weakness.
That's true.
Everybody can't handle your brokenness.
Yep.
Nor should they see it. But that's a different topic for another day.
Listen.
Because everybody doesn't need to see your struggle.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't need to see your process. Show them your progress, not your process.
That's good. That's good.
Because they just need to know God did it. And sometimes they don't need to know what he did.
They don't need to know all the extra stuff. Keep that out.
leave the extra stuff out. But I'll just leave with this. Don't settle for being functional. Settle for being whole.
That's good. I love
it. Wherever you are in your life, even if you're in a relationship, don't settle for a functional relationship.
That's good.
Get a whole relationship. Be complete. Be healed from the inside out. There's nothing wrong with seeing a therapist. There's nothing wrong with going to get help. That doesn't mean you're turning away from the church, because you need to stay in church too. Amen. Because there's some things that the therapist can't deal with that your pastor can. Yeah. And then there's some things that your pastor can't deal with that your therapist can.
Yep.
So the two of them have to work hand in hand. And lastly, somebody else will probably hit on this, and just because it's on me, if your child, or if you're dealing with a child that has been molested or touched, they need therapy. They need to see a counselor as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because the coping mechanisms that come with that type of mental trauma can be dangerous.
Wow.
And that's not just something, and just talking about it is not therapy.
It's not.
Just coming to the round table, who touched you, who did this, who did that, that's not therapy. They need help. Get them help. And I'll just say this, the two work hand in hand.
Yep.
But once we become real, the church will be real.
That's it. That's it. I love it. Look, I know that blessed somebody, because it blessed me. And I so appreciate you coming on. I don't know, is it time? Okay. I just want to have a question, and I'll let you go. But at what point did you say, okay, well, how long, okay, for one, did you deal with the mental issues or whatever? And at what point did you say, you know what, let me just go and talk to somebody. This is a bit much.
For me, don't be like me. I dealt with my issues for over 20 years.
Wow.
I did not go seek counseling until I literally had a mental breakdown and my mind collapsed. I lost about 50 pounds, was not eating, was not sleeping. And the problem was I got to the point to where I could no longer function.
Wow.
Because I had depended on my functionality so long. And when I got to the place to where I could no longer function, that's when I sought help. And the problem is I shouldn't have waited that long, because I knew long time ago something was wrong.
Yeah.
And don't wait. And that's why I say don't rely on your functionality. The same thing with depression. People are depressed, but they still go to work. They still, go to church. They still live their life. And they might have a great social life, but you're just functioning. You're not whole. Don't wait that long. Because it will. Don't wait to the point to where you got the knife in your hand. Yeah. You got the pill bottle. Don't wait, because the problem is we knew long time ago, because I've been to that point too. Right. Before you tried to take yourself out, you knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
You knew you wasn't all together.
Right.
But
Wow.
Get help. Like at the first sign, get help.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of help.
Get help.
Get the help that you need. You have to get the help that you need. And
that's good.
And that's because I waited. I waited. And even I'll show you the grace of God.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I went to therapy, my counselor told me, I don't know how you made it this long, because people with your story are in a padded wall somewhere.
That ain't nobody but God.
Because I just learned how to cope.
Yeah.
And even with me coping, I still had to figure out how to reprogram myself, because some of my coping mechanisms were very, very, very detrimental.
Yeah.
Very detrimental. But I can still say, I see the hand of God on my life.
I know that's right. I
see the hand, but I'm glad I got the help.
I know, right. The hand, but I need the help too.
I see his hand, but I'm so glad I got help as well.
Thank you for the help.
Thank you, God. I thank him for the help. I thank God for help. Even tonight, I thank God for help, because he will help you. But I had to be honest.
Yeah.
And sometimes I talk to leaders. Sometimes in your honesty, you need to step out the limelight.
Yeah. Wow, that's good.
You need to put the mic down for a season. You need to step away. Let somebody else lead the song.
Right.
Let somebody else give the word. Let somebody else pray.
That's good.
Let somebody else do it. And you get whole.
Yep. You have blessed us tonight. And I so appreciate you coming on and sharing your story and being transparent. This is what I'm all about, being transparent without spilling too much tea. And you did that tonight. So thank you so much. Again, I know it blessed somebody. And we have three more people who are coming on. So we're going to see what they have. We're going to continue to bless the people. Thank you, bro. I love you. Thank you so much.
Love you too.
Thank you so much. All right. Talk to you soon.
Be blessed.
All right, you too.